Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for another episode of the Idiot Quilter. This is episode number 270 for July the 16th, 2024. And it was a busy week last week. It was my birthday Sunday, and it was our wedding anniversary on Monday. So, yeah, busy time. So let's jump right into my current projects, shall we? Okay, this is called The Spirit of Christmas Hope. And if you saw my blog yesterday, you will know that you will have already seen this. I have not yet got it quilted. That will come soon, I hope. But this started out as a panel, as you can see in the center. It was a kit. I got it from a quilt store just north of me by about 30 minutes. And yeah, I'll tell you a little secret here about kits. I like kits to a point, but I never get around to doing them. You know, you acquire these because they're cute and they have all the fabric with them and whatnot, and you have the best of intentions, and then you have a pile of kits. So I said, no more kits until I get the kits I have done. Well, yeah, best laid plans of mice and men, right? Because I saw this one and I was looking for, well, I wasn't really looking for anything, but I thought this would be great for Christmas. It might make a nice gift for somebody. I don't know who. But you know, so I got it. Now I was a little wary about how much fabric came in the kit because I don't know about you, but I've bought a lot of kits in the past where I've been shortchanged on the fabric. And you know, this drives me crazy. You've heard me talk about this before. If someone's going to put together a kit, i.e. a store, then come on, be a little bit more generous in the amount of fabric that you give. Don't cheap out. If you have to put up the price of your kit by $5, even $10 more, do that to cover it, because there's nothing more frustrating than working on a kit and you discover halfway through it or even towards the end of putting it all together, you are short fabric. And then you're scrambling, looking for that same fabric to finish it, looking in your stash, trying to get it online, trying to go to a quilt store. And you know what that's like. You just don't have a lot of luck finding the exact same fabric. So yeah, that's what makes me a little wary about buying a kit. The other thing, too, about this particular quilt store is I've been shortchanged by them twice. I bought a couple of table runner kits about a year apart from each other a few years ago from this particular quilt store. And yep, you guessed it, not enough fabric. Now, the first time this happened to me, I blamed myself. I said, okay, I didn't cut properly. But the second one, I made sure, absolutely sure, and I was very stingy with the fabric, that I cut everything exactly the way they wanted it, and I still came up short. Now, in both cases, I was able to find fabric to finish the projects. But when I saw this at that store, I thought at first, because it had the name of a specific designer and company, that this kit may not have been put together by the store. I was wrong. I asked about this, and one of the salespeople said to me, oh no, they put it together in store. So I said, okay, I don't want to offend anybody here, and you know, I told them the story about the other table runners. Well, the lady I'm talking to, when you know, put other foot in mouth, she says, well, I cut this kit. And I went, okay. But I don't know if she was new to working at that store, but the store had undergone a new ownership. It had been sold to somebody else, and I could tell there was a new attitude in the store. Previously, when I went to this store, they weren't friendly to us. You know, they were very cold. Totally different now. Very nice people working there, very warm, very friendly, very helpful. So I told her the story, and she said, if you have any problems with this kit, you let us know. We will make it right. I said, okay. And actually, that was reinforced by another lady in the store when I was checking out. She overheard the conversation, and she said, yeah, can you tell me which kits those were. And I said, well, I don't know what they were called. It's been a couple of years now, but I described them for her. And she went, oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. And it sounded like they had an employee there at one point in time that was cutting for these kits and was always undercutting because I wasn't the first person to complain. So she reinforced what the other lady had said, that, you know, if I had any problems, let them know, they'd make it right. So I went out of the store a little bit more confident, and actually, there was no shortage of fabric. There was fabric left over. Yeah. So it went the other way. But you know, that's okay because, you know, you make mistakes too when you're putting something together. So we always need a little extra fabric. So I was very happy to see that. The instructions for this, which had nothing to do with the store though, and had everything to do with this company, are very confusing. They're not inaccurate. Well, there was one little omission, and it had to do with making those stars you see in it. They told you to cut a certain number of pieces, but they sort of neglected to tell you which fabrics on some of the stars to use, so you had to look at the picture. And in fact, it was a good thing there was a picture in this kit, because otherwise the instructions would be very, very confusing. But I managed to work it all out. I didn't realize when I purchased this that I had to work with paper templates. I don't like working with paper templates for a couple of reasons. One reason is cutting them out, putting them together when they're large, like those two really large Christmas trees. And yeah, that eats into my quilting time, that kind of thing. Plus they're paper, so you got to be careful with them when you're cutting around them. I mean, these had straight edges, so I could use my rulers, which was a good thing. But anyways, I got them cut out. I managed to make everything work, and here is the top, all done. Now, I added the border, the outside border to this. It didn't call for it, but it just seemed unfinished to me without it. I know right now, I've been reading and watching things on YouTube, and apparently borders are not in fashion these days. Well, sorry. I think a quilt looks more finished when there is a border in most cases. And I don't count binding as border. But anyways, I added the border to it from fabric in my own stash. And the other thing I don't like about working with kits that have panels is you always have to trim up the pattern or the panel, make sure it's straight because they're not usually printed straight on the bolt. And you have to add coping strips. And in the case of this one, I had to add a coping strip. You can see it there, the little thin red line to either side of this to make it the right size. It's okay. In hindsight, it would have thrown all the measurements out if I had made wider. If I'd put a little inner border or a border right around the panel itself, and I would have had to do some adjustment with the pieces that went around it to make it all fit. It could have been done, but I didn't do that. But anyways, I think it's cute. I think it's going to look great once it's all quilted and everything like that. I don't know what I'm going to use for a quilting design. I am tempted to do custom quilting on the Christmas trees, but I don't know. That might be way too much work for what it's worth. Maybe just an edge-to-edge design would be the best thing. So I will show that to you in a week or 2 or 3 or 4 months whenever I get it done. I thought I was getting ahead of the game with Lucy. I had quilted a couple of quilts there last week or so, and I only had about 4 more to go. Well, I've added to the collection. So yeah, it's just a never-ending pile that need to be quilted. Okay, so that's one thing. So that's not that picture I want. The other thing is I'm still working on a secret project. It's an in the hoop embroidery project. It's going to be really cute when it's done. I'm working with another person who is digitizing a pattern for wall hanging. And she's just learning how to do that, digitizing. And she's doing a remarkable job as she does this, because it is not easy to digitize things and, you know, all the stitches in that to create an in the hoop embroidery project. So I'm her tester, and it's coming along. It's going to be a bit of time for now. I think her deadline to have it done is September the 1st, which, you know, gives her some more time, but it's a lot. It's a big commitment on her part. But I am enjoying working with this, and so sometime down the road, when I have her permission and everything, and when it's probably finished, I will be showing that to you. Okay, let's move on to what's happened in the last week. Well, we had Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, as we always do on Wednesday. Link for that if you want to join us, all are welcome, is in the show notes. And of course, I had a very special pop-up sew day on Saturday, my birthday edition. And what made this one a little bit more special is everybody likes to get gifts, presents on their birthday, right? Well, I gave presents in the form of Amazon gift certificates. I did random draws throughout the day. And yeah, that makes me happy when I do that kind of thing. I like doing that. So, yep, and I had, ironically, and this is the first time this has ever happened, usually most of the people that are on my pop-up sew day, the vast majority, are Americans as opposed to Canadians. And Saturday was no different. But when I made the draws, I did 5 draws. 4 out of 5 draws went to Canadians. Now, that would seem like it was fixed. It was not. It was completely random. And actually, I was trying out a new little add-on program for Zoom. They call it it's an attendance tracker. But basically, I needed a way to get people's names onto my random name generator wheel for the draw. Zoom itself does not have a capacity for that, but I found this program, and it worked dandy with it. So that was great. The only drawback to this is it's a free version I have right now, and I think it's good for about 10 Zoom meetings or something in the future before it doesn't work anymore and you have to pay for it. And, I would pay for it if it was a reasonable price and it was a one-off, but it's not. It's a subscription. A monthly subscription. It isn't expensive, but I think it's $10 a month or something like that for the base level of this program. But the problem is, I'm not going to be using it that often. I mean, the next time I can see myself using it is probably for my fall retreat, which is I give prizes out for that. So I would use it there. So yeah, it's not worth for me to spend $10 a month on something I'm going to use maybe 3 times out of the year. So yeah, I'm still looking for other alternatives, free alternatives for this as well. So yeah, and the thing is, you want it to work in Zoom, which means it automatically collects the names of everybody that's on the Zoom and creates a list of those names. That's what I want, that I can copy and paste into the random name generator thing. And for some reason, Zoom won't let you go into the participation list that's there and copy everybody. That's stupid too. So yeah, and there's been people online who have been bugging Zoom since at least 2020 to do something like this, to create something in Zoom, and they're just basically saying, yeah, that's a good idea. We're thinking about it. We'll see down the road. Anyways, moving on. Didn't need to get into a whole big discussion about that. But anyways, Pop-Up Sew Day was lots of fun. I got the Spirit of Christmas Hope that I just showed you done. And I got another one of the pieces of the Special Secret Project done. And I've started working on an In the Hoop fall table runner. That's really cute. Now that's something else that's piling up, are these In the Hoop embroidery projects, because there are several people on Wednesdays on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen who are into this as well, and they keep showing me stuff, and I go, oh my God, that's so cute, I want to make it. And so I buy the pattern, and I've got a folder now full of these patterns to get to. It doesn't end, does it? And maybe that's a good thing, because I'm never bored. Lots of projects to work on. So yeah, Pop-Up Sew Day was great. When's going to be the next Pop-Up Sew Day? Well, Probably not until August, because we've got plans, as you know, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in this episode as well. And yeah, before we know it, we're done the month of July. And that's scary. That's very scary because time's just going by too fast. And, you know, summer, it's so short here in Canada that we have to milk every moment out of it that we can get, because we turn around and guess what? It's cold. Okay, so another special event that happened this week was the Social Review. It's our monthly gathering of Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches, Shannon from Slay Arts, Russ from Quilt Meets World, and Walter and myself from the Idiot Quilter. We get together and discuss a topic. And so this month's topic was our love-hate relationship with sewing machines. So we talked about what machines we have, features we like, horror stories about our machines, and talked about what you need to know when you're going out to buy a new machine. I think it was a very informative and lively discussion. So if you didn't catch us live, it was a YouTube live, then go to Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World, and you will find the replay there so you can take a look at it. Okay, so that takes me to some show and share things, or demos or reviews, that kind of thing. So on So Chatty this week, Walter did how to do buttonholes on your sewing machine if you have a buttonhole feature, and most modern machines do. But it probably came with a little gizmo that you looked at and went, ew, what the heck do I do with that? Well, Walter takes the mystery out of making buttonholes. So that you might want to check that out if you haven't already. That was the So Chatty episode that went out this past Friday, and there's a link for it in the show notes below. So what else did I get for my birthday? Well, if you saw my vlog yesterday, I already showed these, but I didn't talk about them in terms of how they're related to sewing and quilting. So here's what I got. On the left, you see my little vacuum. That's what that is. That's a little battery-powered, rechargeable battery-powered vacuum cleaner, and it is great. And you know how I said that oftentimes on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, we have the enabler crowd. We enable each other. Somebody on there had bought one of these, and I saw it and I went, ooh, yes, that would be great in my sewing room, because, you know, you get the dust, you get the little thread pieces, little pieces of fabric and everything. And it doesn't matter how well you clean up after you've been sewing. You always find some little nooks and crannies that have this stuff piling up in the corners, creating huge dust bunnies made of fabric. They might be pretty, but who wants them? So this does a wonderful job. It comes with a couple of attachments as well. It has a brush attachment. Those little things popping up out of the holes in the front of it, those are the attachments. It has a crevice tool as well. And I really wanted it for the crevice tool because this is very lightweight. You can carry it with you. The hose isn't very long, but it's enough to get, you know, into, like I said, the little nooks and crannies. And the crevice tool is great for that. It's very powerful. It has 2 settings in suction strength, and it has a battery in the back of it that it comes with a charger, and you just charge the battery. Now, Works is a company that makes a lot of different drills and workshop tools, and the batteries that they have for their equipment are interchangeable. So you will find, and the link is in the show notes, to Amazon, where I got it. Walter got it for me. And you will find the link there, and it will show 2. There is one for this, I believe in Canadian dollars, was 149 Canadian dollars, but that came with the battery and the charger. There's a cheaper one for $93, which does not come with the battery and the charger, because I guess they're assuming that if you already own some of these products by Works, you already have batteries, you already have the charger. So I don't, so that's the one I got, and I'm loving it. It doesn't take up much space. You can see the size of it. It is not huge. And it has a reusable filter in it that comes out that you can, you know, knock the dirt out of it when you're cleaning out the bottom part, and you can wash it. and just rinse under a tap, let it air dry, and put it back in if you need to. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this. I think it's worth the money, and yeah, it does a good job. So no more excuses for killer dust bunnies in my sewing room. The other thing that I've picked up here are baskets. I love baskets. I have a lot of baskets. Now, usually I buy my baskets at the dollar store. And why do I have so many baskets in my sewing room? Well, I use them while I'm working on projects or smaller pieces. I throw them all in the basket. That keeps my cutting, pressing mat work area, all that kind of stuff nice and neat and tidy. Keeps all my things together. I'm not searching for missing pieces because you know how that goes. So I'm a basket freak, and I don't know why baskets go missing, but I never have enough baskets. So I'm at the dollar store and I buy them, 3, 4, 5 baskets at a time, get them home, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I don't have any empty baskets. They're somewhere. So we were in Costco the other day, and I happened to see this batch of baskets, various sizes, quite a few of them for $20. And so, yeah, actually, even when you buy them at the dollar store, baskets, they're not $1 anymore. Not at Dollarama anyways here in Canada. They used to be, but they've slowly creeped up in price. And now for the ones that I usually buy, which are a little smaller than these ones you see in front of you, they usually cost me, I think, about $2.50 for a basket. So this I thought was a pretty good deal, and you can't see it, but there's different sizes. There's a couple of round ones, smaller round ones. I didn't buy them when I saw them at Costco, but Walter went off to Costco again the other day, and I said, oh, by the way, while you're in Costco, I said, you remember those baskets I was looking at? Can you take another look at them and see if you think they're really worth the money? Because he knows how I use my baskets. And, maybe just send me a text message while you're there. He didn't, but he came home with the baskets and went, happy birthday. So it was another birthday present from Walter. You might think I was taking advantage of Walter for my birthday, and maybe I was. But the point was this. He kept asking me, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? And I kept saying, I don't know. Because I didn't. And it works the same way when his birthday comes up. What do you want for your birthday? He doesn't know. So we're trying to think of something to get that, and I like useful things for my birthday. I don't want trinkets. And he's the same way. Our problem is we buy what we want when we want it. So we're hard to buy for. So anyways, he leapt right on that. Went, okay, baskets it is, vacuum it is. So yeah. So in your sewing room, I highly recommend baskets. They're great, as I said, for organizing your projects, keeping things neat and tidy. Your little pieces, little baskets are great for the little pieces as well. If you're working on an Art East thing, there's like a million little pieces, and it's easy for those to go missing. So I suggest baskets. And you've probably already figured that out. Good for storing fabric, too. They're good for lots of things. Your tools, whatever. Can you ever have too many baskets? I can't. Okay, so now one other, I got a special gift. I talked about this on my blog, but it needs to be mentioned again because this has nothing to do with quilting. It's A1 sauce. You saw it yesterday, and I told you yesterday that I love A1 sauce, and we've been having a hard time getting it here in our area for some reason. So my friend Sue Norfleet, who's a regular on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, and I call her a friend, and I call actually most of the regular people, all of the regulars on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen friends, because we have become friends as well, which is another advantage to our Sew Day on Wednesdays. If you want a friendly group, we welcome new people to our mix as well. It is a very friendly environment. And Sue, this was a complete surprise, as I said on the vlog. It came in the mail, and I couldn't imagine what she sent me. When I opened it up, I just laughed my head off, because I guess I had been talking about my woes of trying to get A1 sauce, so she sent this to me. And this cost in posting a lot because she's in the States, and the postage for this costs more than the A1 sauce cost. But I was so pleased, so surprised, so happy when I opened this up, and just I have that's why I had to mention it again because, yeah, thank you, Sue. It's just it was a thoughtful gift and a nice gift from a friend. So thank you, Sue, for that. Okay, let's move on to subscribers quilt of the week, which is from another one of my friends from the Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen Day. You have seen her beautiful creations before, and Pat Jennings is who I'm talking about, is an art quilter, and I've had her on one of my retreats before, giving a special talk about art quilting as well. So here's another one of Pat's absolutely wonderful creations. This week's subscribers quilt comes from a longtime subscriber and friend, Pat Jennings. And we've seen some of Pat Jennings' beautiful creations before, and she is an art quilter, which I really admire. It's something I would like to try my hand at, but I just don't think I have the talent, and I know I don't have the talent anywhere near like Pat's. Now, Pat sent this beautiful creation along, and she has several pictures of it, and she didn't really tell us much about it. All she said was that it's entitled Whisper of Japan, and it was pieced and quilted by her, by Pat Jennings. So let's take a closer look at this quilt. Well, the quilting in it is fantastic, as you can see, and various different details here. I love the use of the black on the white background, and then these little squares of fabric that are intermixed in here definitely in an organized way. It is very, very stunning, and I can see why she calls it a Whisper of Japan, because it definitely has a Japanese feel to it. Here we can see a little bit closer up detail of one of the squares that she has fussy cut in here, and it definitely looks like a style of Japanese painting. I don't know if the fabric she has used is actually from Japan, if it's a silk or not, but either way, it's extremely beautiful. So this is a gorgeous creation, definitely very creative, and as I said, all the elements, each one is very interesting on its own, but when you put it all together into one quilt, it is spectacular. So thank you, Pat, for sharing your lovely creation with us. So, do you have a lot of scraps? Get baskets. Baskets are good for scraps. But if you're like me, they do accumulate, and you're always looking for ideas for how to use up your scraps and how to create. Yes, I like to create scrappy quilts, sometimes improv, just throwing my scraps together and whatever comes out, comes out. But not everybody is like that. Some people like to have a little bit more organization within their chaos of scraps. And so I came across this YouTube video talking just about that, how to organize your scraps, how to use them up in a quilt, and at the same time make something that looks like it's a little bit more planned. This week's YouTube video is called Quilts for Scrap Lovers, and it's a presentation that was given at the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show some time ago, not that long ago, a couple of months ago, and presented by Judy Guthrie. I'm not sure how to say her last name, but this is a really great video for a couple of reasons. One, the quilts that are shown are very beautiful, but they are all made from scraps. And this particular presenter shows you how to organize your scraps for creating a beautiful quilt, and how to take advantage of color play and design. I found this very inspiring. In fact, I wasn't even going to watch this video when I came upon it because I thought, yeah, another scrap quilt. But this one is definitely so much more and gave me some really great ideas for how to use up my scraps, but at the same time, how to design a beautiful quilt using what you have. So if you are one of those kind of people that needs some inspiration, your scraps are piling up, then you're going to want to check out this particular video called Quilts for Scrap Lovers. So that takes me to future projects, and I always have future projects because I am never without a project, as you know. And this one is for one of those in the hoop table runners I was mentioning before. This comes from Sweet Pea Designs, and it is called Winding Star Blocks Table Runner. This week's future project is another in the hoop table runner, and you know I love in the hoop projects. And this one really caught my eye because it's something a little bit different, and it's called Winding Star Blocks and Runner. And as I said, it's by Sweet Pea Design. Now, I don't know if I would really do it in these particular colors. You can pick whatever color you would like, although see, I stay away from pink, but it has the blues in it, and if I can find the right shades, I might go with what they have. Now, it looks like it's fairly intricate to do, but I think that's part of the charm of this particular table runner is its complexity. And knowing Sweet Pea Designs, this will not be as hard to do as it looks when you look at it. It comes in various sizes, as you can see, and right now it is $17.05 Canadian, so it's a little less American. And I think, though, when I bought it, it was on sale for 50% off. I think I paid about $8 for it, Canadian, which is a really great deal. So this is what I want to get to down the road. I have actually several in the hoop projects that I want to get going with, and to the point where now I have to keep them in a separate file to remind myself that these are sitting there waiting to be done. And when it is, I will show you how it turns out. So that's Winding Star Blocks and Runner, and I have a link for this in the show notes below. So I have found a new quilt store that's not very far from me. It's in a town called Milton, which is a little bit west of Toronto. Probably would be about an hour's drive for me to get there. And I've never been there, but I didn't know this existed. And I love the name of it. It's called A Material Girl, and they have some fantastic prices. So here's my review of A Material Girl online quilt store. This week's online quilt store is called A Material Girl, and their shop is located not that far away from me. They are in Milton, Ontario, which is about, an hour to the west of me on the west side of Toronto. And I have never come across this site before. So let's see what they have to offer. So this is their home page. Actually, that's not their homepage. This is their homepage, and they list fabric types. They have all quilting weight cotton, 100% cotton flannel solids, wide back. Their sale fabrics, mesh solids, hardware, clappers, pre-cuts and bundles, organic cotton, organic canvas, and birch fabrics, and notions as well. And so that's their front page. So let's jump right into their all quilting weight cotton. And okay, right off the bat, I'm not really happy with their user interface because it looks like it's just a massive page of all of their fabrics. And there are 17 pages of it. I kind of like the little sidebar that lists things by brand or designer or by theme. But nevertheless, let's take a look here. I'm seeing some stuff that already is grabbing my attention because it's Juicy Juice. And I do love Juicy Juice's fabrics. Now, let's take a look at what they're charging for Juicy Juice. It says from $2.90. I imagine that's a quarter meter. That's a fat quarter. Well, that's not bad for a fat quarter, $2.90. Remember, these prices are in Canadian dollars. A half yard is $5.80. So, and it's in yards though. I prefer it in meters. It's Canadian. You should be in meters, not in yards. Also, you get 3 inches more if it's in meters, because a yard is 36 inches. A meter is about 39 inches. But anyways, just one of my pet peeves. Let's see. So at $5.80 for a half, that's really cheap, because that's what is that? It's $11.60 for a yard. That's really good. Now, depending on how their shipping works, I don't know. We'll see. We'll check out shipping in a minute. But here we go. The fat quarter there's 4 in stock, and there's 12 in stock of half yards. So basically they have 6 yards of that particular fabric in stock. I kind of like this. Hopefully this is accurate, because that really gives me a good idea of what they have available. And here they give you the yardage. So when you put in your quantity, 1 is half yard, 2 is a yard, 3 is 1.5 yard. Okay, so that's good. So fabric is sold in half yard increments. All right, so that's pretty good. So right now I'm impressed by the price. Okay, let's go on and see if all their fabric is in that price range. Well, let's jump a few pages in and see. Now here's some at $3.25 fat quarter, so that would be let's just double check us half yard. That's $13. Okay, $13 a yard. That's still a very good price on fabric. Excellent, really. So I am impressed with their pricing. And let's see, $4.50 for Dashwood Studios. So that would be $18. Now that's getting more up into the regular price. Let's jump to the last page. $4.50, $4.75. So it's looking, well, that's wide back. Okay, wide back though. For half a yard, $9.50. $19 a yard for wide back. That's pretty good. Even this at 11, that's $22 a half for a yard. That's really good price. So the most expensive looks like it's about $13. So that's 26 a yard. Those are good prices. Why didn't I know about this before? Okay, well that's impressive. So let's go back to the home page and let's check. We checked the wide back. We have flannel. What do they have in the sales section? $3. So that's 3, 6, 9, $12. $12, $13. So still, prices are good, and they have quite a few pages of sale fabric, so there might be something here that you'd like to pick up. Okay, so far I am impressed. All right, let's go back to home and let's take a look at pre-cuts. So pre-cuts, fat quarter bundles, 100% cotton. They tell you the size and charm packs, and what do they have? Well, fat quarter bundle here for $7, 5 pieces. That's really good. 70, 60. Okay, 15 pieces for this one, $70. 66. They don't have a lot to choose from, but prices are very reasonable. Okay, let's go back to their home page here. And that was pre-cuts. New mesh solids. I don't know what mesh solids are. 60 inches wide, solid color mesh, lightweight, with a slightly larger open texture. Great for bags, purses, or creating your own reusable shopping bags. Would be also great for beach bags, sleeping bags, toy bags, laundry bags. If you really want to have fun, make yourself an 80s style mesh crop top. Remember those? Ooh. Salvage edges are nicely finished and can be used as is. 100% polyester. Okay. Well, not expensive. $8 a yard. And, not a bad variety of colors. So that's definitely, yeah, I could see using something like that in a bag. Okay, well, that's another source for some things that go beyond quilting. Let's see what else. This little spot is full of surprises. They have hardware, they have clappers, and then they have organic cotton. Organic cotton. Don't know why this is called organic. But again, prices are pretty good. because I would expect these to be a little bit more because they're organic. Organic. I don't know what organic cotton means. Is it a line? No, it says birch fabric, so I have no idea. I thought all cotton was organic. That word bothers me. But anyways, they have it available. Price is still pretty good. Okay, anything else we need to look at? Well, notions, they have bias tape, interfacing, batting. Okay, let's take a look at interfacing and batting. Heat and bond, non-woven, fusible interfacing medium. So it's $4.40 a yard. That's not bad. Heat and bond, iron-on fusible fleece, $4, so $8 a yard. Woven. All right, but they said batting was under there, but I do not see any batting. See, it said here, interfacing and batting and marking pressing tools. So maybe they're out right now, but none of this is batting. Okay, because I would have been curious about how much they sell batting for. All right. Anything else on the home page we should be checking out? Thread and bobbins. Okay, what kind of thread do they have? Looks like they sell Gutermann, and that's it. And I don't know if that's a good price or not for Gutermann, because it seems to be a little expensive when I compare it against a big spool of Aurifil. But yeah, $19. That does seem a little expensive. Now they call it a Material Girl thread, but it looks like it's Gutermann. Yeah. Now, okay, is that for a whole box? One in stock. Yeah, set of 12. Well, that's not a bad price then. For a set of 12, $19. So that's less than $2 a spool. Yeah. Okay, if you're into Gutermann. I mean, they're only 110 yards per spool. They're not huge. It's still, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. All right. So let's see. I think that's pretty much everything on the home page we want to take a look at. Just out of curiosity, I wonder what they're selling Wonder Clips for, because Wonder Clips tend to be expensive. Well, that's because they don't have any. Yeah. Yeah, I guess they must be sold out of those or whatever. Okay. Anything else up here then we should take a look at? Gift cards, about the girl. So this is something about them. They started in 2014. Okay. I sell online to Canada and the US. Okay. Doesn't say anything about shipping. Does she have a link? No. Let's go into her FAQs. Do you ship? How much is shipping? Okay, shipping is a flat rate of $6 Canadian per order anywhere in Canada and $20 per order to US. Wow. Wow. Okay, this is definitely worth checking out because her prices are good on the fabric. She has a fairly good selection of fabric, and her shipping is very, very inexpensive. So that is really worth checking this out. So that's it for, oh, just quickly, a sale. Yeah, we saw that. Okay. So I would strongly suggest that you check out a Material Girl, especially if you live in Canada. At those prices and shipping rates, I don't think you can go wrong. So next week, I don't know if there's going to be a regular episode of the Idiot Quilter because I won't be here in my home. I will be in Berlin, Ohio, Amish country. And Walter and I are going there for a couple of reasons. We're going there to do some fabric shopping, check out the quilt stores because there are quite a few of them in the area, and we have a list of the ones we want to go to. Also, we'll be staying at the hotel, a new hotel that's in that area, where next spring, Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches is holding her spring retreat. And as you know, I have been asked to teach at that retreat, which I'm very honored that Stephanie asked me to do that. So we're going to be staying at this hotel when we're in Berlin, and we're staying there on purpose so we can check out the facilities for next spring, because I want to get a sense of where I'm going to be teaching, what's around, what facilities I have to work with. Because when I teach something, well, I like to make sure that my environment is conducive to this. And I know it is, because Stephanie wouldn't have picked it otherwise, but I want to get a sense of it for myself. And then, so that's 2 reasons we're going down. And the third reason is we're going to visit Stephanie, because Stephanie lives not in that area per se, but close enough to that area that we can get to her and spend a day or so with her. So we're really looking forward to that. So what are we going to do about our weekly videos? Or what am I going to do about my weekly videos? Well, there will be videos. There may be a couple of bonus lives while we're there. It's all going to depend on what our internet connection is like in that area. But I will be making videos as well. Now, those may get posted that week or may not. So anyways, there's going to be a little bit of a disruption to the usual routine, but I think it'll be a pleasant disruption. So yeah, that's my explanation for that. Okay, so that's the end of this episode of Idiot Quilter. Why did I say Walter? Quilter, not Walter. Well, I'm a year older. So, yeah, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so thank you for tuning into this one. It's the end of the episode. Tune in next week for who knows what, and have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.